Such a great joy for me to be able to share this holy night with all of you. In January, I went on the March for Life pilgrimage with a number of chaperones and students from Pope John. Went along. And as part of that pilgrimage, we visited the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. And there, atop a hill overlooking Washington, D.C., stands a white marble sarcophagus, the resting place of unidentified American soldiers from World War I, II, and the Korean War. The tomb has been guarded 24/7 since 1937, regardless of whatever kind of extreme weather there may be. The tomb guards exist to pay respect to all the missing and unknown service members who made the ultimate sacrifice, giving up their lives to protect our freedoms. The guards honor and remember them in place of all the families who maybe never knew what happened to their sons, husbands, fathers, and brothers. While the tomb of the unknown soldier is guarded, lest we forget, in the history of the world, only one tomb has ever had a rock rolled before it, and soldiers sent to watch it, to prevent the dead man within from rising. And that's the tomb of our Lord. Guards at a tomb to honor the dead, now that makes sense. But what could be more ridiculous than armed soldiers keeping their eyes on a corpse? But those sentinels were sent to Jesus' tomb lest the dead walk, lest the silent speak, and the Sacred Heart quicken. They said he was dead. They knew that he was dead. They said he would not rise again. But they still kept watch. The chief priests and the Pharisees, they claimed that they wanted to prevent Jesus' disciples from stealing the body away. But in truth, they were fearful of the words of Jesus himself, because Jesus had called his body a temple, that in 3 days after they had destroyed it, he would raise it up. He had compared himself to Jonah, that as Jonah was 3 days in the whale, so he would be 3 days in the earth before rising again. On the third day, Abraham received back Isaac that God had asked to be sacrificed. And on the third day, God came down upon the mountain of Sinai to give his law. And so that's really why they sent their own temple guards to watch until the third day. It seems that in God's plan, the certificate of death and resurrection had to be signed by the enemies of Jesus. Because certainly it wasn't signed by his disciples. If the chief priests and Pharisees were fearful of the possibility of a resurrection, the disciples gave no thought of it at all. They stayed home. They slept in. There was no hope in their hearts that our Lord would rise again. And only the women came early in the morning, but not because they thought that he would rise, but so that they could anoint his body. In God's plan, Christ's enemies expected the resurrection, but his disciples did not. But tonight we know that he is alive. Once you've experienced God's power working in your life, you cannot but be convinced of this. That light has conquered darkness as the light of the Easter candle flowed through the church. All the preparations and the saving acts in the Old Testament that we listened to in those readings tonight, they've been fulfilled. This night, when Christ broke the prison bars of death and rose victorious from the underworld. Tonight, is our vigil, our watch, awaiting tomorrow's dawn, the third day. We're not guarding a resting place of a man. The tomb is empty. We keep guard not simply to remember one who gave his life for our freedom, but we watch knowing that the God-man, Jesus, who made the ultimate sacrifice, has conquered even sin and death. And that means every Christian life is meant to be a sentinel, keeping watch, standing guard, witnessing to the world of the truth of the resurrection. To speak the words of the angel in what we do and in what we say. Do not be amazed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth. He is not here. He has been raised. Tonight is our vigil, our watch, awaiting the dawn. And tomorrow when the sun rises on the horizon, may we meet with joy the Son who rises from the grave.